Now, I have a question for you. You came around Badagry uh, for a slave history tour, and I noticed that it had been very, very emotional for the two of you. Please, can you tell us how you see it or how you feel it? Because at the time you were shedding tears, you know, and that moment I became emotional too. Please, can you tell us one or two things about that? What actually happened? Why were you shedding tears?
Yeah, thank you. One thing about it is that before we came to Badagry, me and my husband, we have been seeing a lot of the way how slavery is. But for me, that I came from Osun State, I've been hearing about Oyibo, Oyibo, Oyibo. I didn't know the difference between foreigner, which black America with white. For me to see everybody is either they are black America or they are white. I always call them Oyibo. So when me and my husband we met each other, we started to be talking. I can remember I've called him Oyibo, but I saw the way the eyes was red. I was like,
He didn't
what?
like it.
He does not like it. But I've been kind of forcing if maybe it was in emotional, maybe her eyes changed. I'll say, darling, what is going on? Worry about. He's going to say that I didn't like the statement you said. Then I said, what happened? Why did you say it? It was like white men took us as a slave. That's why he does not like
To be called
to
that
be
name.
called that name.
Name.
Then he told me, but I could not
You didn't really understand that
yes,
time.
I understand him very well.
Okay.
So, but I was like, is it possible? Slavery, but there are some movies it shows to me, but that one is, let's say it's not practical, it's theory, because I've not seen where the thing happens.
Oh, what you're trying to say is that when they tell you about slave history,
Yes,
it looks unreal to you.
yes,
It
exactly.
looks unreal that it's not possible.
Yes.
Okay, was that why you were today? You are around, and we took you to Slave History Museum. You
When
saw
no,
where they.
there is one of my lecturer is Professor Shola Ajibade. When he was trying to ask him that, Prof, can you try to explain the difference between white and black America? That my lecturer tried to explain to me. I was like, if my husband is lying to me, this is my professor. Then if I want to be saying something with evidence, I need to say my professor Ajibade told me that this is from then I was very calm that this thing is true. Then my husband told me that when before he's going to travel back, you need to go there to see how things happened. Then he's going to know maybe it is true that as human being obìnrin. He even told me that the place they are going to get those slavery to, if I even see it, I was like, is it possible? Things that is not yet happened. But
And you saw it today.
when I saw it today, I was like, for you to say that women wasn't pregnant and when they want to pee doing their messes and
In the same slave cell,
in
in the
slave
barracoon.
cell
Yeah,
is
it's horrible. You can't
oh
imagine it.
in
You know.
fact.
So, sir, uh, what do you think? You've told your wife one or two things about the slave history, and for the fact that you're an African American who traced his root back home to Africa, you told her that look, we are not Europeans, we may be Americans, but we are African Americans, and you told her about slave history, and you brought her here today to learn more in the slave museum. Sir, what did you think? Because both of you were talking, and your expressions changed. I really like you to talk about that, sir.
Um, this is I think, a testimony to humanity and seeing that there's evil humans and good humans everywhere. Meaning that there's plenty of people even from West Africa who know what happened, and they still will look at Black Americans as rainbow. Yeah, so meaning that, I mean, and even when we saw the slave museum, there was Africans who actually came to Badagry and fought against the whites and fought against the evil ones too.
Yes.
But then there was other ones who helped and said, it's not happening to me. It's the king doing it, so I don't want to talk about him. Let me just do my own business and that's it. So what I'm gonna say is like really, this like in general, like shows like for all human beings like just how good and how wicked we can all be. I think on a educational and a cultural level, the fact that this is located in Lagos State, but the majority of Nigerians don't even know about it, is a shame for all Africans all across the world. Because, you know, Lagos is located by the ocean. And so for people to not even have that as a basic part of their education, but maybe even like, you know, just till like recently, a couple years ago, everybody knew British history, but they didn't even know something that just happened right over here. So,
They didn't know their own
yeah,
history.
I've been to Ogun State before. I said, you know, they asked me, why do I look like an African even though I'm from America? I told them my ancestors were taken a long time ago. And someone told me I'm a liar.
Yes.
And then another person told me, they said, I wish my ancestors were taken as slaves as yours.
Yes.
I had someone from Ogun State tell me that.
Yes.
And so, you know, when I see something like that, it's a shame for all of us, all blacks across the world. You know, the fact that, like, in Africa where it happens, that people don't even know anything about it at all. And they think, and they can even make light on it. And it's like the council's right there. And that, you know, Nigerian government doesn't even invest in saying, okay, let's have our schools come down here to educate our children. Let's do this. But that's not, they don't care. You know, so it just shows that the problem that happened back then is the problem that's still happening now. You know, and it's like people on both ends. You know, you'll see African Americans who try to make light of the situation. Some people from Africa who make light of the situation. But we have to critically and harshly look at ourselves. Don't even look at what the whites did. Look at what we did. What was wrong in our what was the hole in our culture that allowed for the whites to penetrate us? And we need to say, okay, what do we need to do to change this? But you know, I don't see that happening anytime soon in Africa.
Why do you say that? Or do you have an idea of
I
how we can go about it?
Yes, there's people, you know, like I said, just like in the old days, there were people who did not accept that at all, like Ifabukola and stuff like that.
Okay.
So it's up for those people to come together and have the courage to, like, challenge and stuff like that. And, you know, some people are going to have to die, too.
Yeah.
You know, that's just how it goes. People, I mean, but nobody wants to die. So that's what I'm saying. Until if people have courage enough to say, okay, we're going to die, but we're going to challenge these people, then that can happen. But like I said, why I said I don't see it happening anytime soon, because I see the beginnings of something like that happening definitely. People who have conscious minds and who want to come together and build something new, I definitely see that happening. But as far as it like being a movement that takes over and everything like that, the wicked people who got into power back then, their descendants are still in power now. And it's like you see it, you know, just like you can see, why is it that this person, and then even, especially my experience with different African, like, and just being in Nigeria, if someone's a chief or someone's a king high above you, because of the ojuju that person has inside of them, you're afraid to speak about them. You're afraid to speak the truth. If this person's a fraud, then you can't say it because it'll do something to you, or it'll do something for
So
your life.
you are afraid.
Exactly.
But yet, you're talking about movement. If we all come together as a movement, we can do something. Not all.
It has to be honest enough to be like, okay, some people are a part of the wicked ones. They don't need to come here. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying the ones who actually have the consciousness to say, okay, let's come together. But no, I mean, there's going to be people who have to die. Like, the wicked ones got to die. You know? And Ifa talks about wicked people dying. The Bible talks about wicked people dying. Islam talks about wicked people dying. So, I mean, no matter what, someone's going to have to die.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just going to be up to the good ones to see if the good ones are going to die or the bad ones.
Okay.
Yeah,